playing it because it just wasn't that.
Replication, kind of like a short unrated mode. Obviously, we all know what replication is, except everybody has the same agent, so it could be.
It's just a weird
It's
gimmick.
chaotic to say the least. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
replication is better, but I think they still missed it with having all 5 people as the same agent. It's like a fun temporary game mode to have, and it's sort of
Yeah.
like an event, right? That was like its original purpose, but no, it just wasn't good enough because it's not Valorant. How do you have like all the same agents? That's not like that's
Yeah,
not the
it's not the
fundamentals
way
of
it's not the way
Valorant.
the game was meant to be played. So Swift play, I'm actually really excited to start playing it eventually when I get back onto the game. But
It's really good because it's literally like you're
it's
just
just a
playing a
short
regular.
unrated, and that's nice because like you said, it's like I might not have the time to sit through an entire 45-minute game. I might not even have the mental to sit through a 45-minute game. But like,
No, literally.
but like
I'll
if
get
I just want
tilted.
to like just play a couple games with the homies, take it super casually, like that's what this is for, and
We can
that's
finally do that.
exactly that's what I'm excited for.
And basically, if you guys didn't know, what Swift Play is a regular unrated game mode, but it's first to 5 instead of first to 13. Now, what that means is with the more condensed rounds, is the economy moves much faster. So each round you play, you get a lot more credits per round. So basically, by like round 4, like the last 2 rounds of the half, you'll have like full buys. Like you get a lot of money for it. Um, so it's like it's super fast paced. Everything is the same as unrated. So when I'm bored and I just want to hop on and play the game, I can play Valorant, not Spike Rush or Replication. I can play Valorant for a solid maybe like 15 minutes ish, and then just get off if I'm bored.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I'm wondering about is if they're going to introduce a separate ranked mode to this. I don't think they will, but
No, because I mean, I know Counter Strike. I've been playing a little bit of Counter Strike recently. It's just like, they have more or less for competitive. They have a long competitive mode, which would be your first to 16, and then they have a short competitive mode, which I'm assuming is first to like 8 or something like that. I haven't played the short mode, but like I kind of hope they do something like that, and I do kind of hope there's a separate ranking for it, because it's like you just plow through a bunch of competitive games, but
exactly. And the thing is, the games are too. I think they would have to introduce a separate rank. I don't think they could connect your main competitive rank to Swift
That'd
Play.
be too scuffed.
I think it's going to be its own thing, and quite frankly, I don't think they're going to introduce rank to it because what might end up happening, what Riot doesn't want to do, is split up the community more than they need to, which is what they might do by adding more and more game modes. So I think they're trying to keep it nice and concise, really. So I don't think they're going to introduce ranked because it's just going to be it's splitting up the community because then people are either going to be Swift Play players or they're going to be ranked competitive players.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like the Valorant community is already kind of divided as it is between casual players, more competitive players. Like me personally, I don't know if there's a healthy balance between the two just yet.
I think most people play competitive. I don't think a lot of people play unrated. I mean, there's like the really casual players, which is like the small amount who just play for fun completely, and they just play with their friends. But most of like the Valorant fan base, like they all play competitive and they play ranked. Even if they're playing it casually, they're still playing in ranked, just at lower elos, really.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Swift Play, that's a big W. I was playing it a lot lately just because I'm so tired of ranked and it's so exhausting and it takes so long and it's. But Swift Play is nice. It's fast. The rounds even go by faster too because like it's not ranked, so people just go in and push and it's fast and it's easy. You can lay back. A very big W from Riot. Good job. Very proud of you.
Good job,
Very
Riot.
proud. You finally did something.
Along with this new update, new bundle. Yeah, I haven't really seen gameplay. I've seen like I guess quote unquote gameplay from like the firing range. You say it looks like a reskin of the Wasteland.
The Wasteland bundle.
To me, I don't really see that.
Well,
I do think the melee is pretty cool though.
I don't think it's a total reskin, but I do think they took so much. They took so much from the Wasteland bundle, and it's like I saw so many similarities to it. But I mean, I think it looks way better than Wasteland. Everyone hated the Wasteland bundle just because it looks so.
It's kind of an odd bundle. I don't know why
they tried something else with it. It's definitely a unique skin.
Oh, it is.
But cryostasis is what this one is called. Is definitely a lot better. It looks pretty sleek,
and the whole. I mean, me personally, I'm probably not gonna get it, but I do like the fact that like as you kill more players, the gun freezes up more.
Well, no, it's when the gun shoots, the frost and the snow actually goes away. Like when you're shooting a gun, it's heating up, right? So then it goes.
Yeah, just from the gameplay I saw, when you killed an AI, like it froze more.
Well, I think after you stop shooting for a while, it'll refreeze itself. which is
That's
pretty
actually pretty gnarly.
good. Yeah, like
That's pretty
it's
sick.
kind of
That's a pretty
cool.
cool concept.
You got to admit, Riot does get really creative with their skins, and they
They
try
they have
everything.
a really nice art team.
They've tried like every kind of skin out there by now. They've really nailed down what works, and they're still experimenting with new kinds of skin, which you got to give them credit for. I mean, look at CS:GO. They don't even make their own skins. They just take community skins, put it in a case, and go boom. There you go.
Yeah, but
Riot goes the extra mile.
I
Though.
also like that though. Like
It's good.
I
Yeah.
hope Riot does that. Maybe like every once in a while, just like a community skin bundle.
Yeah, that would be
Like
really
that would
cool.
be cool. And then like whoever's designs get picked, the like a part of the proceeds go to Riot, but then another chunk of it goes to the person who actually made said.
Yeah,
You know?
I think they should totally do that. And
that would be really cool because I feel like the community can come up with some really nice skins. I see this one dude on Twitter. I forget what his name is, but yeah, like I've seen this guy. He made an Oni 2.0. I guess like concept, if you would.
Yeah.
And it was like you had a pink Vandal, like you had a sword as the melee, like that's really cool.
I swear, the concept art skins that I see on Twitter are 70% of the time they're better than the skins that we see
Arguably, they are
in
better than
game.
the actual skins.
They're just always so nice looking. And what I think Riot should do is actually to go back and look at the old look at the Prime Vandal. Think about how OG that skin is. They gotta add more variants to that Prime Vandal. I don't know if they're ever gonna do that. They've never done this before.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll actually go back and add new variants to
because
that'd be pretty cool. Because instead of just releasing an entirely new skin bundle, like instead of like a Prime 3.0, just update the current Prime and just maybe add like 2 more variants per weapon.
Because think about the different kinds of bundle skins as like canvases, and like you can do unlimited things on those guns. Like the Prime Vandal, the shape in itself is iconic. It's one of like the most liked Vandal skins in the game.
I love that Vandal.
And if they were to add more like colorways to it, I think that would be amazing. People would definitely go back and use that skin again, 100%.
What's I know this is a little off topic, but like, what's your favorite skin bundle?
My favorite skin bundle?
Like yeah, like or more or less favorite skin for weapon, like for like your Vandal and your Phantom. What are your 2 favorite skins?
That is so hard because why am I blanking on the name of it? It's the Vandal skin that's shoot. I forget what the name of it is. But it changes colors. It's kind of RGB. It came with like the RGB knife as well.
Oh, the RGX?
RGX, yeah, that's it. That's like that one cannot be beaten in my eyes. I think everyone agrees that Vandal skin is one of the best.
Is a top tier skin. I actually haven't used it in a long time. That used to be my go-to, like a blue RGX Vandal with like the purple pinstriping. Like that was like
pinnacle.
That is what I would. That was my go-to. I mean, the RGX doesn't miss, like in general.
No, like Reaver Vandal, Prime Vandal, RGX Vandal, like they
those
cannot.
Are all hits.
They cannot do better than that. They cannot do better than that.
I still think the Neptune Vandal, or as I like to call it, the Bubble Vandal, or the Fishies. I still think I still think it's part of a niche community. I personally really like it.
Yeah, but I mean, back to the Cryostasis bundle, it's definitely in the middle of the pack. It's not anything like jaw dropping like the top skins we've seen like the RGX, but it's pretty good. People are gonna buy it. It's not a total booty skin, but it's terrible, pretty good.
Not great.
And the melee is okay. I'm not a big fan of like the hammers or axes.
I think that's a cool concept though.
Nah, I prefer like classic knives. Like CS:GO knives are still better than Valorant knives in my opinion, just from like the animations and the swag that it has when you shoot that knife around, or not shoot, but when you throw the knife around, when you flick it around in your fingers in CS, it's still so much better.
But, dude, see, I've only bought one knife, and that was the RGX blade. I ended up, I've just been rocking the Velocity Karambit for so long.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it's just a nice, simple, clean.
They're really overdoing the Karambits, but I don't mind. I don't mind.
I also say the same with butterfly knives as well. I think they've gone just a little too many with them, you know?
The Xeno Hunter knife is one of the best knives in the game. It has such a nice animation, but it looks like a default.
It's just a default bayonet. Like, I want it because it's cool.
In the future, I'm positive that they're going to take the Xeno Hunter knife and they're going to improve upon it in different ways. Like, imagine if they did, like, the RGB for Xeno Hunter somehow, or something like that, because that knife has so much potential. And the Xeno Hunter is just like, it's so plain, though. You know, it's just like a regular default knife. It's the animations is what makes it really well. But, I mean, out of this whole update, it wasn't just skins. It wasn't just the game mode. Literally every single agent, almost every single agent got changed in some way, shape, or form. It was mostly Chamber, which is what we talked about in the last episode. We know all the things that happened to Chamber already, so we won't go too much into that.
I'm kind of I mean, I haven't played since the update, but I'm kind of excited for maybe like a not like a no chamber meta, but like definitely a less chamber meta.
Well, yeah. Think about what happened back when Asteroid Viper, like the double controller meta, was going crazy. Nobody was playing Brimstone. Nobody was playing Omen.
It's because Viper was so broken at the time.
And then they finally they threw out nerfs and buffs to the smoke agents, and then all of a sudden every single agent in the game is being played, which is amazing because I'm so happy that Omen and Brimstone are like back in the meta because I think they're such fun agents.
I think
to
Omen
play and
Omen is
watch.
underrated. I love playing him so much.
I don't think he's underrated. I think he's exactly
how he is at the moment. He's how he should be, but like
Yeah.
before, he was definitely underrated.
Well, yeah, with his smokes and his TPs, like we were missing that out of Omen, especially in pro play, because like there's so much creative stuff. It's just fun to watch Omen play.
It totally is, but like like Jordan said, almost every single agent got touched, whether it was alt or abilities. So like to kind of group it up, like Cipher Trips, KJ Mollies, they all got bumped, or Sova arrows, KO knives, like to kind of group it all together. They all got bumped up to 20 health. Me personally, I still don't really know what that does, because if you're running a Phantom or Vandal, it's still gonna one shot regardless.
All the buffs and nerfs that they've thrown out are super minor. Obviously, besides Chamber and then the changes to Viper's Viper Pit, the rest of the buffs and nerfs are like super minor, very small tweaks to each character.
I think it's almost like it's almost just like a quality of life update that I think will just make the game play a lot better.
The most interesting thing out of this whole update, which actually really shocked me, is the fact that a lot of utility that you can place on the ground, like KJ Mollies and any ability that you can put on the ground and keep there, is now basically able to take damage from other, like say take a Brimstone's Molly for example. If you throw that on the ground, if it's any piece of util, it'll break it.
That's what I think is cool. I feel like that's something we've been missing.
It's like a Sova Shock Dart, because Sova Shocks break everything.
Say you're in a, I don't know, we'll say you're in like a 1v2 or whatever, and there's a Cipher Chirp right in front of you. If you shoot it, they're gonna know exactly where you are. Yeah. But say your Brim, throw a Molly down, you could run the other way, destroy that, and then just walk your way back up. And I think it definitely changes the pace of the game. And like I said, it's just like a quality of life update that I think will make the gameplay a lot better.
Yeah. For a lot of the util, they increase the health from 1 to 20 so that other agent's abilities, when it hits it, it won't break it instantly, but like it'll have a little bit of health to be able to withstand, because now these abilities that are on the ground have a new way of being broken, so they've increased the health for those abilities, which makes a lot of sense. Which is why things like, the one thing though is with the Sova Dart, I'm not sure why they increased that to 20 health, because that's very weird to me. I don't know if because for 90% of the time, the Sova Dart's still going to be a one shot. You just go up and shoot it, like even with a classic, maybe 2 bullets with a classic.
Well, like even some abilities that you control, like the Fade Prowler or the Raise Boombot, and I think even the Skydog, they all, I guess, got like a minor health nerf, and they went down from 100 HP to 60 HP, which again is a very good change, because like say you're on pistol round, like instead of like 4-shotting a Fade Prowler, you could just 2-shot it, and it's out of your way.
Oh, exactly. The Fade Prowler, that was crucial. I was really happy to see that in the patch notes, that the Prowler now is 100 to 60 health now. So like, because the biggest thing with the Prowler is it was so hard to shoot because it would go so fast. It would go up in your face, and it's like you can never shoot.
It was kind of busted on the low.
If it catches you by surprise, like you're gonna get blinded.
You're gonna get got pretty much.
But now that it's 60 health, it's gonna be a lot better. I think it's still gonna be annoying because obviously your utils should still be good, but it's not as annoying to have.
It's definitely
counter.
It's gonna be easier to counter, which is nice. A lot of agents like Breach, Viper, like KO, all their alts got increased to 8 points.
Yeah.
I still think Reyna should be an 8-point agent. That is just a personal opinion.
Did they even do anything to Reyna?
I don't think they touched Reyna at all.
Well, I think Riot's long-term game plan with Reyna is to sit on it for a little bit and then do a rework, because clearly they're not.
That's what they did with Phoenix. That's what they're gonna do with Cypher. So like, I have faith in Riot. Like, it's not that big of a deal to me.
Yeah, clearly.
It's just a personal problem.
Yeah. No, I don't think they're gonna do anything to Reyna in the meantime, because they know that Reyna needs some big changes. Like, no small alterations of her kit is really gonna be able to fix the big problem. So there's a clear reason why they didn't do anything in Arena this patch.
Yeah, but like a lot of agent abilities, like the price of them got dropped. Like Omen Blinds are now to 250, Phoenix Walls are to 150. So like makes them a bit more viable, and maybe people will use them a lot more because it's like, oh, I didn't waste 300 credits on this blind. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I feel like
his blind is really good though.
the Omen Blind is very good.
But yeah,
even like KJ's alt health went from 150 to 200. So now like a Breach Aftershock can't destroy it. Brim Molly can't destroy it. Shock darts, like it's more, which is nice because that means the ult will actually have a lot more use now instead of like getting countered by Breach by the second you pop it.
exactly. Yeah. One thing with Viper's Pit, I think that was like the behind chamber. That was the second biggest thing that was changed about all of these agents, really, because I guess for some reason they saw that Viper's Viper Pit was like way too overpowered. And
yeah, because if you were, because I am a Viper man, I know this for a fact. Like if you were to go in her ult and you walk out of it, you have that cooldown timer.
Yeah.
They essentially shorten that cooldown timer while you're outside of her smoke, so the ult doesn't last as long. Yeah. Which is actually a good change coming from a Viper main like that.
Yeah,
that makes sense because like obviously when you go into that Viper ult, you get a decay, which again makes sense. But it's also nice because it prevents people from always playing outside of their ult, and it actually gives her ult more of a purpose.
Yeah, she can't play around her ult as much because her time outside of the ult has been shortened, so she has to go back inside of it quicker. And also her regeneration time when going back into the ult takes a lot longer.
It's a lot, yeah.
So she has to stay in her ult much longer in between times she wants to leave and go and play around it. I don't think it's going to be a huge difference. I think it was pretty good. I think it was a slight nerf.
It is a nice change because it's like, you're going into a site with a Viper ult up. It's not a guessing game of is she out of her ult or is she in her ult. It's more or less she will probably be in her ult.
It's a more likely chance that she's in there somewhere, and you just gotta find her. Her ult is still like really good, and in my opinion, one of the best ults in the game.
Oh,
especially
for sure.
when you
can
lock
down choke points, no problem. Like B site on Breeze, for example. The round could start. I will hear somebody in the elbow. I am popping it, and it's because you just get narrowed down to that one little choke point.
Yep.
Unless you walk all the way through elbow, and by that time you probably have two people watching that.
No, exactly.
So it's like, yeah, like it is a very good area denial ult. Like
overall,
going back to KJ though, I do think her ult change was good, like the upping the health, because it makes it last longer. Because I think the KJ ult itself is perfectly fine.
There's nothing wrong with KJ's ult; it's totally balanced.
So I think adding the health just makes it a little bit more valuable.
I think it was too easy to counter originally, because if you have another ult like a Sova ult or a Brim ult or anything like that, like you'll be able to take it out, especially like shock dart lineups and stuff like that. Because KJ ults are pretty easy to predict because you can literally see it on the map.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you know where it is, you can shock it, you can counter it really easily. So I guess the increased amount of health is kind of nice. I guess it'll help out KJ mains a little bit more. But overall, this update was huge. This is a lot of stuff that they've done. This is all in preparation for the next oncoming season with like franchising and Ascension League and all stuff like that. They're getting ready for that basically. But yeah, so we probably won't see another big update like this for quite a little while. I think they're gonna run this update for a little bit, see how the buffs and nerfs go, and then I probably maybe a couple weeks or at least a month before the next season kicks in, they'll probably do maybe one last tweak, see how this update changed everything, see last minute changes, stuff like that. But for now, I think this is all good stuff, especially with Chamber. I think thank God. Finally.
Yeah, that Chamber meta was really getting on my nerves. I think that's actually why I stopped playing for a while, was because of that Chamber meta. So
yeah,
it was just
it was pretty
almost
brutal.
Every single game you would see a Chamber.
Every single game. If you didn't have a Chamber, it's like
you're kind
of might
throwing
lose
at that
it.
point.
Yeah. It was like back in the day when you didn't insta lock Sage in the beta when she was the most overpowered agent you've ever seen.
I was actually thinking that because Sage got touched to this update. Sorry, but just in general, she hasn't really been tweaked too many times. It's been very little that she's been like messed around with.
Because I think she's really balanced.
She's a very balanced agent. I think all they did was the wall fortification. It just takes a little bit longer. So like when you that little period when you throw the wall up and it solidifies, it's just been increased by 0.3 seconds. It's to 3.3, which makes sense. Which also gives you that extra 0.3 seconds to shoot it down.
Exactly, yeah. I feel like Sage Walls were super OP on pistol rounds or eco rounds
Oh,
because
they
it takes
totally
so
are.
much to break it down. But yeah, overall, because I don't think anything's really wrong with Sage. I think
No, but
she's a
like
pretty
what they did, which kind of makes sense. Like her self heal, it only boosts you up an extra 30 HP.
yeah, pretty much. I think okay, Sage is on the maps that Sage is good, she's perfectly balanced. On the maps that Sage is not played so much, that she's not good. But I think Sage's role is there and it's defined well. Because I don't think Sage has any issues. Like take a look at Sage on Icebox. She's really
Oh,
good.
she's really good on
She's
Icebox,
perfect
especially
on
for
Icebox.
post plan. Sorry, but going back to her heal, now healing allies will always heal to 100 HP. That is a very good change.
Oh, I saw this. That's for Sage, right?
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
if she heals one of us, it'll heal us to 100 HP.
But she can't heal herself.
But
to
she
100
can't heal
HP.
herself to 100 HP
forgot
unless
about
she's
that.
at like 70 or so.
That's really good, actually. Like that's like I felt like for the longest time, like Sage is like quote unquote like the main like healing agent of Valorant, but her heals were just so bad. It's like like you can waste a heal and it's like, oh, it's a little bit more health. Like maybe I'll take 1 or 2 more bullets, but like hey, I'm still low on health.
Yeah,
and you look
like
at Sky's heal, and it's like that'll heal everyone else up to 100. It's like that's Sky's heal was way better.
Sky's got a good heal. I think they decreased the price actually, or they increased it by 50 credits to 250 now.
Well, regardless, I think the main reason that Sage wasn't being played on a lot of maps was because Sky is a more viable agent to play on that map because her heal is better. Because it's like you could play Sage or you could play Sky.
Yeah.
Sage has walls, but like Sky has way better heals and flashes.
Yeah, she has info, she has flashes, and she has healing. That's like a do-it-all agent right there.
Yeah, all in one right there.
Exactly. Like Sky's still very good. They increased the price of her dog though. I actually don't know what the name of that ability is called.
Her something. Her wolf. We'll call it a wolf because I think it's actually a wolf.
It is a wolf.
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll go with that. Anyway, her wolf has been increased to 300 credits. Makes sense. I can't remember what it was before, but
they're all minor changes.
They're all minor changes, and honestly, I think they're all just good changes. Like I said, quality of life changes that.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You know that I think that'll just benefit like the health of the game just in general.
I think most of these changes we're not really gonna notice.
No, but it's very minor, but like in a good way.
In a good way, yeah. The only changes that we're really gonna notice is maybe like the Sage heal and then like some of the like the
price increases and maybe the price decreases.
HP here and there for some utility. It's mainly Chamber, Viper, and Sage that will see the difference. I'm excited about Sage's heal because finally her heal is actually useful for something. But yeah, those are pretty much all the
agent changes. Yeah.
And then we have the Spectre nerf.
Yes.
Actually. So the Spectre, in my opinion, the Spectre was totally fine.
Yeah, I have no problem with the Spectre.
I think compared to the other SMGs, like you look at the Stinger is good because it's cheap, and if you're close range, that'll beat a Vandal.
The Stinger cheese, man. You post up next to a choke point, you hear them running, because a lot of the time people don't check their corners. I'm actually guilty of it. I don't check my corners. But
I mean, it happens.
It happens. But like, dude, just running and gunning with like a Stinger, just running it down, like especially like right after a pistol round when the enemy team is probably on pistols unless for some reason they force.
If you manage to like control your recoil properly with a Stinger and you know what you're doing, it's a lethal weapon. And I think,
to be honest, I actually don't think it's that hard to control recoil with it.
Oh, it's not too hard. It's just very aggressive. You just have to get used to it. If you use it for a couple of games and you get used to it, it's like, okay, yeah, this gun's pretty good.
I also tend to play really ratty with it. Like I said, like post up next to a corner. But that's what's so good about it. Because I find not a lot of people know about the like quote unquote Stinger meta. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, not a lot of people actually do it. I myself just always run the Spectre because it's such a good all around gun.
So much better, but like depending on the map, like if it's a pretty close quarters map, like I'm gonna run it. Like.
Yeah, they nerfed the Spectre like ever so slightly. It's still a pretty impact.
A little more range drop off after it was 30 meters.
After 30 meters, it goes from 22 damage to 20 damage. So it's like it's a little bit, but you'll feel it.
You'll notice it'll probably take an extra bullet or two to kill.
You will feel it, and I personally don't think there was really anything wrong with the Spectre. I think it was a pretty well balanced gun for the price that it is. Because like you can do a little bit of long range, but you'll still get beat out by a Vandal 11 times out of 10. close range, if you're good and you hit your shots, like you'll be able to take
You
out.
can still hold your own with a Spectre.
You can hold your own, and they like the nerf with the long range. It's like yeah, maybe, but like long range Spectre, it was still really bad.
Yeah, it
Now
definitely
it's
wasn't the
even
greatest.
worse, and I guess that is what they're going for. But I
Because
don't think
I
there
mean,
was a
it is an SMG after all.
I don't
Like,
think there was really a problem with it in the first place.
No.
But yeah, the nerf's there, and
But-
it's like no harm done, I guess.
but you know, we're in Act 5.
Act something. I don't keep
I
track.
think it's Act 5, Episode 3 we're on. Act 6,
Something like that.
Split is coming back.
Yep, Split's
Or
coming
it's
back.
either later this act or at Act 6. But I know for a fact Split is coming back.
And Bind and Breeze are leaving.
Is it Breeze that's leaving?
Breeze, yeah, they're not happy with Breeze or Bind. It's just the way that it plays. Right, it has their.
I hope they do a
Breeze-
minor rework to Breeze. Me personally, I had no problem with it, but that is also because I'm a Viper player.
Well, yeah, because I think they just don't like the way the maps really play out in like the competitive scene.
No,
So they're introducing Split back into the map rotation, I guess.
I'm interested to see what kind of changes they do. Because I mean, I thought Split was perfectly fine to begin with.
I thought Split was okay. I didn't like it personally, but I thought it was an okay.
It was okay.
map.
It definitely wasn't. It was a fun map to a degree.
It was a fun map, but I think what they're gonna do, because I had a really big problem with all the verticality in the map.
Yeah.
The way the map flowed, it didn't feel nice because there was like B main, mid, and then A, and it's all very, very sectioned off.
I mean, the map is very defensive heavy to begin with, so I'm wondering
Yeah.
if they'll change that. Because, like you said, there's a lot of verticality. If you're on, I think it's A site, you have Heaven and then you have Ramp that both look down into the choke point that gets you into A site. Like
Exactly.
everything is on a slight elevation. I mean, hell, even back screen, it's like it's not much, but it's a slight little ramp, just a slight little ramp that gets
Yeah,
you up there.
yeah.
Like there's just little bits of elevation, and it's like even when you go
a
down
lot of
into the
elevation.
site, you walk down a set of stairs. Like there's
I think their whole thing for taking Split out of the map rotation in the first place was to work on it.
give
and
it a good rework.
give
And
it a good rework, like change the foundation of the map, because ultimately being on attacker on Split is really hard just because of how sectioned
It
off
is
you are.
rough.
Because if you take a look at like Breeze, for example, that's another map that got taken out, but like it's a good example because if you go take A site or take B site, there's multiple routes that you can take a site in rather than just funneling through.
Yeah.
That's why they took Bind out, is because with
I know. I want to say somewhere recently it wasn't. It was a couple months ago. They did do a slight rework to Breeze and to Bind. I know.
yeah.
The double boxes on A short on Bind. Obviously, they took that out, so you can't even one way it anymore. It's
Yeah.
like jump up, like
They tried to open it up a little bit,
which
because like
again makes sense. I know they did it with Breeze. Like they opened up the entrance into cave. They took out the corners. Like
yeah, like the whole problem with Bind is it was just a bunch of choke points. Because like, if you look at B in the hookah, you have to go jump through a little window to get to site, and then over at
or you go through long and you go through garden. But either way, you're getting funneled into two choke points.
it's very funnel. It's not a very open map.
Like
and then Breeze has the opposite problem where it's a little bit too open.
Like
So,
I feel
yeah.
like I think they need to rework mid. Me personally, mid's kind of messed up
On Breeze.
on Breeze.
On Breeze, I think it's just a little bit too open. I don't think
Exactly. I
it's-
think it just needs a little bit more cover.
well, I
Like
think it's-
especially coming from attacker side through mid. I feel like it just needs a little bit more cover.
I think it's just in general that Breeze is too open of a map.
Breeze is a very big map.
It's a map for lurkers, and it's rotating. Takes very long. I don't know.
Rotating takes forever on that.
Exactly. I hope with the
Cause like
Breeze rework that comes probably
Mhm.
in the next like probably half a year to a year. Hopefully they'll condense the map a little bit, or at least
Yeah.
make it a little bit more closed off, because it's too open right now. And especially with the chamber meta, it was brutal because chamber just had a
Chamber
he was
had
feasting.
he had a field day on that map. let me tell
Yeah,
you.
exactly. And I think that was the biggest problem with Breeze, because it's either jet or chambered or you lose.
Mhm.
So
It's either
There's
I found with Breeze it's either you have a good controller and a good initiator, or you have a chamber and jet doing it all.
exactly. But yeah, I'm happy that Breeze is being taken out, because I was kind of unhappy with Breeze and how open it was, and it just didn't
Dude,
feel like it
every
played.
time we would load into a Breeze, you were instantly checked.
Like, no, I don't want to play this map. I don't want to play it.
Me personally, I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. I do agree it is a bit too big and it's a bit too open.
It's
but,
too
like,
many angles.
I saw it's fun on the map.
You're taking a site and you have to look at so many goddamn angles.
I
and
mean,
it's
even
brutal.
defending a site like B
Yeah.
site really comes to mind. You have to look through mid arches. You have to look through. I mean, obviously it's only two sections, but the site is so damn big that like
Yeah, I think Riot didn't like the playstyle and then like the flow of the maps, so they're gonna take them out and they're gonna rework them.
Yeah.
They're definitely gonna come back better. I'm really excited to see Split because I had a hatred for Split, and
I'm
now with
interested
the
to see
new
how they rework it. Because, I mean, obviously they changed it from the beta, but I'm interested to see how they rework it now. But I also know there's a new map coming at the beginning of episode 6,
yeah, so
alongside a Split. So
they-
obviously they took out 2 maps. One of them is going to be added, and then a new one's going to be added.
yeah they took out 2 Splits coming in, and then
Mhm.
they're gonna have their new map that's coming out, which whatever it may be. Pearl was the last new map. How many months ago was that Pearl came out? It's been a while.
Oh, I think Pearl. Did Pearl come out around the same time as Fate?
Yes. Yeah, they're pumping out maps left and right. It blows my mind. I honestly
It's crazy.
like in CS:GO, it's like the same 8 maps, and it's like it's been like that for who knows how
They
long.
took out Dust too from the competitive rotation.
Because people were getting so tired of the map.
I
Because
mean, yeah, the map's been played for the last like what 12 years.
Like, the
it's like
pros were just-
1.6.
like you can only come up with so many new strats and ideas for a map. I think pros were actually talking about that in CS:GO. Like, there's nothing else that they can come up with or do to be creative and be better than another team on Dust because everything's been done.
It's literally just whoever out aimed the other team on Dust. That's literally how it was.
Everything's been done on that map. Like that map has been fully explored with every kind of strat. So they just took it out. I think that's perfect.
Makes sense.
I don't think that's going to take years for Valorant maps to get to that point.
No.
But
if they continuously update the rotation, which obviously updates the competitive rotation, I think it'll be fine.
I think they're going to continue to do that forever. I think
and like if they keep that, I think that cycle will work. Just take one map out, put a new one in, rework this map, so on and so forth.
Exactly.
Like they reworked Fractured. Like I like how they're noticeably updating the maps to make them better.
Yeah, all the updates they've done are like really good. And my question is, long term, are any maps gonna stay permanent, or are we always just gonna see a new
constantly updated maps? Well, the one map that comes to mind, Haven. Haven hasn't been changed.
Haven hasn't really been touched because it's such a simple map.
It is a simple map. I think the only thing I don't like about it is the 3 bomb sites. That one kind of like
B site is kind of like a
it's like a pseudo bomb site. You can plant there if you really want, but realistically, everybody's going A or C.
You can go to B site, but it's like there's only certain strats that work.
If you're really cocky and like you're just running it down B site like full team, like I think it works because holding post plant from B site is really easy.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, you can't hold B site Haven inside.
No, you hold it outside of the site because you plant it for mid window, and all really you have to do is just watch garage and watch your flank.
Exactly.
And as long as you have somebody close to the bomb to like get checks on it, then you're fine.
Yeah, then you're totally fine as long as you use your util properly. It can work totally fine. I just think I'm wondering if there's any maps in Valorant that they're gonna never change again. Because if you look at every map in Valorant, there's stuff that you can change and there's stuff that people don't like that they'll eventually end up changing. Because like we've looked at maps that we thought were totally fine, and then Riot goes in and then they've changed stuff about it and altered the map, and it's better. So I don't know. I want to know what Riot thinks is actually like a perfect map in their eyes.
That'd be interesting to see.
Like, what map do they think is absolutely perfect and do not need any changes at all? Like,
I mean, at the moment, I would say Haven.
Yeah, Haven might be one of them, but then again, you look at.
I'm sure Pearl is going to get changed at some point.
Pearl needs to get changed. I hate Pearl. It's a personal opinion.
I don't know. I'm 50-50 on Pearl. Sometimes it's fun. It was fun at the beginning when Fade came out because nobody knew how to counter Fade, and I had a bunch of lineups, so I found it really fun at the start.
Yeah.
But like as the map goes on, it's okay.
Yeah,
not my favorite.
We're definitely gonna see changes to Pearl. Every map that they come out with, we're gonna see changes eventually. There's no way they'll be able to get it right first try.
Oh no, but again, that's why I like how they update the maps.
Exactly. Like in CS:GO, they just release a map and then that's
it. And they just they might update the textures, but that's about it.
Update the textures, put it to source 2. Psych. We'll never do that.
And now, just before we wrap up this episode, let's finish it off with a little bit of esports talk. The former COO of XSET started up an organization called M80, and they acquired the core 3 from Ghost Gaming, being Koala Noob, John Cutie, and Nismo. But then they also grabbed Xander and EU.
Perfect. That's
an interesting team. So that's going to be a new Ascension team, which is going to be pretty interesting.
I think that's a really well-rounded squad because
that is a very good squad.
The people from Ghost, remember when they went on
Nismo was gross.
Remember when they went on that crazy run, Ghost, and they almost qualified for one of the majors?
Yeah, they beat out 100 Thieves. I'm
They beat a lot of teams.
Like, they did really good. I just remember the one clip of Nismo double dinking. I can't remember what player it was, but he double dinked him with a classic.
Nismo was so good.
That guy is
Nismo was on
different,
fire,
bro. This guy's a family man, owns a restaurant, and is still smoking the competition.
I remember
he's so impressive. I love
it.
it.
He was playing a game on Breeze. I don't remember who this was. It was some other NA team because it was.
Is this where he was like had like some absurd stat line? Because I'm pretty sure we were watching that because we were betting our Valorant channel points.
Yeah, we were. Nismo was like triple positive on Breeze. He was probably playing against like maybe like Shopify or like some random North American team because he was in challengers.
I know he versed 100 Thieves on Breeze and again dropped an absurd stat.
He did it multiple times because Nismo is absolutely nuts. And when he's at his peak, this guy is like the best we've seen in North America. It's unreal.
Different, let me tell you.
I was actually like getting ready to see Nismo maybe get signed to a franchise team.
I was hoping
how
to see
good
that.
his skill
He's a really good initiator. He's a really good KO.
Yeah, but no, he's on this Ascension team. He's on with the rest of the Ghost guys. All the guys from Ghost were really good, and now that they have EU and they have Xander, which is like two perfect people to round out that roster.
Dude, Xander is such a good IGL. I saw him leave. I saw the tweet that he departed from V1 the other day, and I was like, oh, interesting. So like, I didn't know if he was gonna get signed to an Ascension team or if he was gonna get signed to a franchise team. Like it was
probably not a franchise team.
Xander's good enough to be in the league.
I think he's good enough, but I think there's other people that are better. If that
makes sense.
But I mean, I think there's so many people that deserve to be in franchising, but like only like half of them can make it, right? Who do you pick?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean,
it's like
I guess
picking your favorite child.
Is to narrow down. Picking your favorite child.
Yeah,
I don't think you can do that.
You can. That's the whole thing. But yeah. Anyway, do we know what the team's gonna be called or anything about the organization?
I think it's M80GG.
M80GG. That is a bad name.
It's a pretty bad name.
M80GG. It doesn't roll off the tongue nicely.
When I think of M80, bro, I think of the firework.
M80, like firecrackers.
I think that's what their logo is like. I have it pulled up on my phone. That's what their logo kind of looks like. It's like a firecracker.
It's whatever.
It'll be nice to see. It'll be nice to see him play though. But now what's gonna happen with V1 and the rest of the V1 guys? Are they gonna get a new IGL, or is the rest of V1 playing out of Valorant and their current roster is free agents? That's the real question.
I think do V1 want to do anything in Valorant now that they're only in Ascension? Like
I don't know.
Because I know a lot of top orgs are probably going to be pulling out.
Probably.
Is V1 going to pull out of Valorant?
They might. I mean, they're making their Rocket League team's really good. Their Call of Duty team's pretty decent. Like that gives them a lot of revenue right there. I don't know what other esports teams they have, but
I don't know because before Valorant, I had no idea what V1 is. I thought they looked like some tier 2 organization. I was like version 1, huh?
Dude, I only know of V1 just because of Zelsus.
Yeah,
I'm a Zelsus stan at heart.
Yeah,
oh my god, I'm so excited to see him play.
Now he's on C9. Now Zelsus, I'm so happy for that guy because he managed to get on C9.
He's in his bag. Anyway, just before we wrap up the episode, esports awards were going on over this week, and no one other than Ye himself has won the best esports athlete of the year.
I think Ye's on top of the world right now. This is like an esports award, not just for Valorant, but for like every esport.
Across all esports. There's some players that I knew in there from Call of Duty, like Kenny and Pred, like best controller players. But then you had, I don't know if Simple was in there or not. I wouldn't be surprised if he
I think
was.
Simple's already won this.
I think he has too. I know Scumpy has won one. Like,
yeah, I think it's very deserving that El Diablo gets one from that dominant performance he had the whole year.
No, it totally makes sense. He deserves it for sure.
It's not even how good he was, it's how good he's been consistently over the years he's been on Envy and then now Optic and stuff like that.
I still feel like we haven't seen his ceiling yet. Like I feel like he can only get better.
I think he's gonna start picking up Jet more often. Because now that Chamber has a nerf, Chamber's probably only gonna get played on so many maps.
Yeah, like
I think Ye's gonna have to start picking up Jet now, and I feel like he's gonna because like before Chamber, Ye was like a Jet main, like that's what he would always play.
But then you also have C9 Leaf. And that's another thing, because Leaf is their duelist. And Leaf used to play Jet quite a bit, and he used to be their opper as well.
Leaf is like their Raze random like duelist Phil. I don't think he plays anything specifically like Ye does.
That is true.
He plays like duelist and like doesn't he play Initiator sometimes? I'm not sure about.
I can't remember what. No, because Zeppa was their Initiator.
Yeah.
And then Vanity was their Smokes.
Yeah, Leaf did play Jet actually quite a fair bit.
I've seen Leaf play Jet a fair amount. So.
I think we're definitely gonna. I feel like we're really gonna see Ye on Jet and Chamber, and then Leaf will be like the secondary duelist or flex role. It
Definitely.
depends, because I mean Ye is Ye. When it comes to
It's
opping, you have to give it to El Diablo. I'm sorry, as good as Leaf is, when you have Ye,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
he was nuts on Jet.
Anyways,
He
guys.
is nuts on Jet.
Anyways, we're a little short for time, so we're gonna have to cut off the episode here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. The other 4 episodes, or other 3 episodes, sorry, should be linked in the description. I hope you all have a good night. Adios.
All right.
I don't know where the adios came from. That was a little weird.
Adios.
First thing that came.